December 24th, Bakersfield, California. A post-operative infection is spreading, and a patient is dying on the table. Inside the operating room, the 51-year-old is under anesthesia. His body is failing. Machines monitor the oxygen, blood pressure, the rhythm of his heart. The numbers begin to plummet. His body is motionless, unresponsive, chemically unconscious. And yet, he would later say that he was awake, not dreaming or hallucinating, fully awake. He says he was no longer on the operating table. He was above it, watching. The patient on that table was no stranger to operating rooms, but not usually like this. He was the chief of anesthesiology at Heart Hospital in Bakersfield, California. Dr. Rajiv Parti had spent his entire career inducing, suppressing, and measuring consciousness. He trusted what could be monitored: oxygen levels, blood pressure, brain activity, and the life that he built for himself was just as precise. He lived in an 11,000 square foot home. He drove luxury cars. He had built a life defined by achievement, but then cancer interrupted it. The treatment for that cancer saved his life, but it came at a cost. Chronic pain, an addiction to pain medication, and a body he was losing control of. The man who once controlled that operating room was now at the mercy of it. And the place he was going did not operate by the same laws of medicine, biology, and finance he was used to. However, it had its own laws all the same. While things may have been baffling to Dr. Parti at the time, they were actually described remarkably clearly by a scientist and similar out-of-body traveler in the 18th century, Emanuel Swedenborg. Using Swedenborg's insights as a guide, we can make sense of all the incredible and sometimes jarring things Dr. Parti was about to experience. Under anesthesia, he expected nothing at all. No awareness, no memory, just nothing. Instead, he was looking down at the operating room, 10, maybe 15 feet above the table. He could see the surgeons working, hear their voices, the tension in the room, specific phrases, specific movements. At first, he assumed it was a drug reaction, a hallucination triggered by anesthesia. But as the scene expanded, he became more and more aware of something else. His mother and his sister, thousands of miles away in India. He could hear their conversation and see what they were wearing. Later, he would repeat those details to them, the colors, the setting, the exact words, and they confirmed it. His body never left the table, yet his awareness did. The operating room disappeared. Complete darkness. The darkness began to change.
From there, my consciousness traveled to different realms. The first realm it traveled to was a very hellish realm. It was pitch dark, there was thunderstorm, there was lightning, and there were very dark entities with crooked teeth running about, and I could hear different souls crying and wailing. Then I was made to lie on a bed of nails, and I was kind of tortured.
What Raj is describing is an environment that seems to reflect the character of its inhabitants. 2 centuries earlier, Emanuel Swedenborg recorded something strikingly similar. All the spirits in the hells appear in the form of their own evil. Their faces are frightful. In many cases, only the teeth show. Swedenborg claims that in the spiritual world, inner life becomes visible. So what we love takes form. Raj pleaded for the torment to stop, and then he understood why he was there.
I had been a very mean person, a very unloving person, and not caring and getting ahead in life no matter what it took was my way of getting ahead in life.
This wasn't happening because he had broken a rule. Instead, it was happening because of what had ruled him. For years, Raj had oriented his life toward himself. Personal advancement, prestige, success at any cost. Swedenborg called this the love of self. Love for oneself is intending well to oneself alone, not to others except for the sake of oneself. They are saying at heart, "What's in it for me?" Swedenborg wrote that when this love governs a person, it shapes their world. So Raj wasn't being sentenced. He wasn't even being punished. He was just being shown. Then his father appeared. Raj's father was not the harsh, aging, distant man he remembered him to be. He was young, whole, dressed in white. When his father was alive, their relationship had been strained. But here, there was no hostility, only clarity. Raj realized something he had missed in life. Even though it didn't always show, his father had always loved him. The two forgave each other, and with that, the environment changed. They began to move toward a tunnel, a light in the distance. And as they walked along, Raj's life unfolded before him. Events, patterns, moments where his ambition overrode his compassion. Moments where advancement mattered more to him than people. But also moments of kindness, of care. In this place, past, present, and future felt fused together. He saw the trajectory of his life and where it would lead if nothing changed. Swedenborg wrote that in the spiritual world, we see ourselves as we truly are. At the end of the tunnel, 2 figures stood waiting.
From the tunnel on the other side, I was greeted by 2 young, robust men. They were full of peace but full of strength. And telepathically they told me they were my guardian angels. And they were Raphael and Michael. Now, it was very surprising to me being a Hindu, how could the angels showed up?
Swedenborg described that angels appear in forms that we can recognize. The angels led him into a different landscape, a meadow radiant with color, a clear stream and fragrant air. The atmosphere felt alive. And then the light. It was brighter than anything he had ever seen. But it didn't burn. It felt like love. Heaven's light is spiritual. It actually comes from the Lord as the sun. And that sun is divine love. In essence, it is divine good as one with divine truth. Perhaps the light Raj experienced was not warmth alone, nor was it emotion alone. It was love as the substance of reality itself. The darkness had exposed Raj, but the light did something different. It embraced him.
I felt unconditional love, like I talk about, I could see love, I could hear love, I could touch love, I could taste love, and I could smell love. It was love all around. It's very hard to describe it, but the best word I have come to describe it, the word I felt, was the Sanskrit word Shanti, which means cosmic peace, cosmic harmony, and bliss.
Raj calls it Shanti, cosmic peace, cosmic harmony. Swedenborg maintains that heaven is not merely peace. Heavenly love is loving constructive activity for its own sake. This is really loving God and loving our neighbor, since all constructive activities and all worthwhile actions come from God. In other words, love is not passive. It moves outward. It serves. Standing in that light, Raj saw more than just comfort. He saw what he had to do.
The light being talked to me without talking, that my life will be spared, but when I go back, it will be totally different life. I'll have to give up materialism, maybe give up my career as an anesthesiologist, and be a healer of the soul, especially the three conditions I had suffered in my own life: depression, addiction, and chronic pain, and to help people with these things, three conditions, which I call diseases of the soul. And then I woke up with a jolt in the recovery room.
If his life continued, it couldn't continue as before. The love that he felt was meant to be acted on. Self-love had shaped one world. Useful love would shape another. He woke up. Raj woke up in the recovery room. It was quiet, the monitors steady. He says his addiction was gone within days. The depression and chronic pain took longer, but something had shifted. He began to examine his life, and then he began a new one. He sold the giant house, he traded in his Mercedes and the Hummer for a hybrid. But what really changed was what he was living for. The love that had once organized his world around advancement had now turned outward, towards service.
And I have become a more sympathetic human being, more caring towards my patients and to my family and to people in general.
Raj described his experience as something that gave him clarity, rather than something that made him feel judged. Two loves, two trajectories, one choice. The future is still being formed, but in all these changes, I have felt no fear. I know I am not alone, and while I may not yet have full sight of what my future looks like, I do know that there is a plan, and that the plan is a good plan. In my old life, I used to put people to sleep. Now, I wake them up. And I have woken up too. If Swedenborg is right, then the world beyond death is full of structure, and not just random. And that structure is already forming within us. So maybe this isn't about what comes next. Maybe it's about what we're choosing now. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that episode of the NDE Files. This show is produced by the not-for-profit Swedenborg Foundation. If you want to support us and the creation of this program, consider becoming a member of this channel. You'll get some cool perks and help know that you're spreading this content out for the next person to find. Thanks.